People can sign up on my site for $57 a month,
And so how much are you charging now for that same offer?
$2,000. But the majority of the people that are purchasing, they're paying 5,000 or 6,000 now. And I'm raising it in the new year to 10,000 for the same thing.
That's 4 months ago. So in 4 months,
Yeah.
$70,000.
Yeah.
And that's from how much spend on advertisement?
Right now, about 5,000 Canadian.
5,000 into 70,000. For those who don't know who you are, how about we go back? Like, what do you do right now? But how did it start for you?
Yeah. So what I do now is I teach intermediate pianists how to play piano by ear, so they can play anything they hear without the need for sheet music, or I call them the copy me methods that are out there, which are just simply either showing you some softwares that you can just copy lighted keys that light up and you play them, or where someone's saying here telling you actual notes to play. I believe I have a course that works for everybody from beginners and up, but I love that I'm now focusing on intermediates, those that are on that pain point of I've tried everything and I want something that works, because that's where I was in my marketing. I was like, okay, I've tried all that stuff. I want the thing that works and I'm willing to invest in it. So those are the people I'm targeting, and yes, that shift for me has been amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so were you, how did you bring your business online? Because you do this online now. Did you start as a piano teacher?
Yeah. 2000. I've been online since 2002. So
2002. Wow. Yeah.
2002, when we used to use CDs. So I used to sell a CD product online, and that's what I started with. And it grew from 4 CDs to a 16 CD set that was there. And so yeah, I've been online since 2002, right? So I've made sales, different things like that, but nothing that's really like, this is, that this is it. And I was surviving on word of mouth. So people, even from some of these other courses, were saying, listen, this guy's teaching it, and blank, and word of mouth would kick in, but it wasn't, it wasn't in a large scale that it is right now.
That brings me on to a good question actually here. So you've been online and selling your products and services since 2002. So nearly 20 years on
20
the
years.
internet selling your stuff, which is insane. So did you find that there were quite a lot of times in that 20-year span where you were having to kind of shift with how the internet is changing? Because, I mean, for example, try selling a CD set right now and you'd be absolutely laughed out of room, right? And so
That's right.
I wonder, what was it like? How important was it for you to kind of keep your finger on the pulse of how actually things are sold online?
Yeah. So in 2013, I switched to the membership model. And so I switched to the membership for subscriptions, right? Because I used to have a CD set, 16 CD set that someone could just buy and they do on their own, right? And so I switched with that model of the subscription model because it's a little bit more recurring, right? So I did that, but it's obviously at a lower price. I think I was doing like $37 or $39 a month or something like that. And I switched to that, and I did that for a little bit. But once again,
Sorry, $39 a month per person it was, right? And so how many customers did you have at that point? How much were you making monthly revenue wise?
yeah, okay, so I had the $30 a month, but I also had a package where they could do like $497 for 2 years, right? So you could pay a monthly or 2 years. So I did get actually majority, and now I'm thinking back, the majority of the people did go for the 2 years, right, at 497 for 2 years.
Cool.
And at that time, it was just like maybe, when I was doing that, it was going between like $4,000 a month,
Okay.
selling at that time
Okay,
for
that's cool.
yeah, for those courses. But then eventually, a couple years after that, when Google began to do the slap with email marketing, where they weren't starting to deliver all of your stuff, more stuff started to go into junk mail. So when they go into the junk mail, then that's when, things were a little bit different. Started to go down or sometimes go up, but it wasn't really consistent. And I know it was because I would, send emails and people wouldn't get the emails. So if they don't get the emails, they're not purchasing.
Would you say that kind of one of your biggest sticking points then was kind of the consistency? So you say you're making around $4,000 a month, but was that very up and down because you were finding problems with Google, or maybe some people this month took more of the $30 an option, not the $500 option, and things like that? Would you say that That was one of the things, sticking points then for you?
Exactly. Yeah, it wasn't consistent. It wasn't
Hmm.
consistent, and I think it required a little bit more work, which I'm not afraid of working. But to
I know
up
that about you, don't worry.
turnover, yeah.
And so leading on to then, you said you wanted, you then started looking at advertising, and I'm guessing that was because you wanted that consistency, but most importantly you wanted that predictability, because that's something that paid advertising can offer. So what advertising had you tried, and was this about 2013 you started to look at doing that, or was it a bit
Oh,
later?
20, I think I would say 2018.
2018. Okay, cool.
Is when I started to do advertising, and I started to invest more in some courses, spend
Yeah.
thousands on some on marketing, and actually they were good
Okay,
for
cool.
certain things. But in terms of creating products and different things like that, I did learn a lot. But yeah, like when I got to you guys, man, you guys spoke my language. Like
I'm glad to hear that.
I always say, I was just teaching too much. I was giving
Mm,
too much, and even now I'm just like, when I close a sale, I'm like, but I didn't even teach them. Like, how's this working? Like, yeah, but it's following the process. So,
absolutely. And so what kind of advertising were you trying 2018?
oh yeah, oh sorry, Facebook. It was all Facebook.
All Facebook. And how was that going for you? Did you have problems with Facebook? Because right now there's a lot of problems with advertising on Facebook. They're not really. I'm not the biggest fan of Facebook advertising at the moment. Some people are, and that's absolutely fine. That's not to say it's a
Right.
bad advertising platform, but what did you find that you liked or disliked about Facebook at the time?
Oh, I like the idea that it possibly could work, but then I didn't like the idea when it didn't. Right? No, I spent tens of thousands. I think if I
Yeah.
go my PayPal account, maybe $16,000 that I've
Wow.
spent on ads, and the return I got was maybe a profit of like $3,000 or
Oh,
something.
so 19 back from 16.
Yeah.
Why did you keep doing it? I mean, it's a profit, I suppose. So
Well, yeah, you think you're a profit, and then you just got to find that right marketing. Yeah, you got to get the 50 conversions within 7 days. You get that.
yeah,
I was attract. See, the thing is, I don't know if it could work. I'm happy with YouTube, but my messaging was wrong. I was attracting people that
mm,
was not really the ideal client too. So you're getting a whole bunch of people sign up, and you think it's going to equate to sales, but it's not. And then you
yeah,
just get them, just more conversations on Facebook. And I'm
mm,
like, wait a minute, I'm not looking to have all these I don't
yeah,
mind talking, but I'm not looking to do like I'm trying to sell something here, trying to help you reach your goals. I'm not
yeah,
necessarily trying to have a conversation all in there. Now I know that's a part of it, but I find myself doing more conversations on stuff
yeah.
that I was wanted to do. I
You were
wanted to,
struggling with the 80/20. You had the 20%, which you had like a sales process. You're like, oh, I had people coming through this sales process. I had that 20% figured
yeah,
out, and that was the bit that everyone saw, and it was great. But then the 80%, the most important and biggest chunk, was the messaging on top of that. So all the people were coming through it wrong.
that's right. So it was, and then I have this list of thousands of people. I'm like, what's going on? Like, it's not working. But like, that's why I
Wow.
said your messaging. And for me, if you're going to teach me something, you better make sure you're doing it, first of all. So the
Yeah,
fact that you guys actually spoke to me and said that you're going to teach me how to speak to my actually client or my ideal clients, what related, because I know that you were doing it. You did it to me, so I know you can teach it. You spoke right
absolutely.
to me. When you said this, you spoke right to me. I'm like, thank you, Pete. Thank you, John. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the biggest things. And like, it seems so obvious, doesn't it? It's like one of those things which, of course, you speak to your customer. Of course, you speak to your ideal audience. Like, that makes sense. Why I've been doing that, surely. And then you look in the nuances of it. And I remember like your first scripts that you submitted to the video clinic, and like going through them. It's like, no, you need to call your audience out more. You're not
Yeah,
calling out who plays piano. You're calling people out who are struggling with this one specific thing when playing piano. And yes,
right,
that may be finding a much smaller amount of people. Like the amount of people who play piano is massive, but the amount
right.
of people struggling with this small thing is this many. But
That's
if you're
right.
talking to this many, then they're all going to be interested. Whereas this, but you only get a sporadic amount. And I think it's a huge problem that a lot of people, like, for example, like for you, for example, not calling out everyone who does a certain thing, but no, you want to call out all the people that are struggling with a certain thing within the broader aspect of it, especially somewhere on YouTube where you have that first 5 seconds. Like Facebook can be great, but they're scrolling. They're scrolling quick. Like you
Oh,
haven't got
the
time to
point
call
where
out
when
that
they just
specific.
look, I don't know how Facebook knows. Like you glance at the ad, oh, you got to pay them. Like, because
Yeah.
that's what essentially it is. It's a 3 second impression almost. Like,
Mm.
yeah, like it can't compare.
Whereas you've got a captive 5 seconds, haven't you? Of like, and people will be surprised with how much you can do in that 5 seconds.
Follow your training, yes, they will be surprised. That's right.
Absolutely. Okay, amazing. See you later, mate. Sorry, someone's just leaving, going past my window. So let's talk about your transition over to YouTube then. We can speak more about like learning that. But so you tried Facebook. You spent 16,000 with only 3,000 back from that. So profit wise, so you 16,000 into 19,000, and you kind of didn't enjoy your time over there. And so on the flip side, how's YouTube been for you? YouTube advertising, and obviously, how's YouTube advertising been once learning our process?
Well, before I got to your process, I bought some other courses on YouTube
Mhm.
and tried those, and
Okay.
it wasn't it wasn't nowhere close. I was still lost. It
Mm.
did a couple of things, and it just still wasn't adding up because I didn't understand the metrics. I didn't understand the process of pruning and stuff, so I didn't
Mm.
know what to look for. So you're just doing that, and I don't like when I'm doing something and I don't know what I'm doing.
I think
So
you've hit on a really important thing there, which just for people watching this video is super important for people beginning on platforms. The worst thing you can do is go out and get something that does it for you, because when it's not working, you don't know what to do to fix it. I mean,
got it.
I think you've spoken really, yeah, to a lot of people there, because I think that's the same reason why we are very adamant and people should learn how to do something, because then you can fix it and know what the problem is rather than just get someone else or a software to do it for you.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. So that was my experience before. So I was done with those, but I knew that no, YouTube was there, and then obviously ran into your ads through John and spoke to me, and I'm like, yep, yep. So I said, okay,
Can
what
you
I
remember which ad it was that you saw?
there was a couple. There was, but I don't remember exactly. But one
Okay.
of them he was talking about the webinar, like the webinar doing. Sorry, the future of webinars. I think
Yes.
it was
Yeah.
that future of webinars because I'm like, yeah, I like webinars. I actually do really well when I do live webinars when they get to see me. The conversions are usually good, but
Mm.
I wanted a different process from that because yes, it'll depend on how many people you have live, which was
Mm.
a so when he talked about the future of webinars and it's still working because I thought okay I'm gonna have to shift some things to having just a video on the page, which is fine if people want to do that, but I still believe that there is a way to do webinars that can work. So when he talked
Mm.
about the future of webinars, then I was interested. But I didn't know that he was doing it then. Like he was, what is the word? Teach to like you're teaching the how. You're not teaching the how.
The
You're
wow,
teaching.
not the how.
I was always teaching the how, thinking that I would wow them so that they can buy.
You did it the wrong way around, my man.
So no, I literally watched the video and I watched John's video and I literally tried to model it. And there was a time when he said, like he did that to somebody else. He tried to model
You did.
somebody else's video, but he didn't know really the thought process between everything. I'm like, okay, yeah, you just got me now because I'm doing the same thing. Try to be analytical. Okay, let me see. He's doing this. Okay, he's saying this. Okay, in my area, I'm going to talk about this, and I created something like that, but it wasn't exactly the same. So I started to learn how to do the ads, but the problem was I didn't have the full training on the messaging and my offer was still it was a lot cheaper than it is now, like probably about
Sorry,
10.
yeah. Can you expect how much were you charging before and how much are you charging now?
So I people can sign up on my site for $57 a month.
Yeah.
There was an
Okay.
offer for $197 for 4 payments. Like it was just that, right?
Okay.
So I got sales from that, and I wrote it down. So when I joined Educated, yeah, I made probably about $9,100 from Educated, the training from YouTube.
Mm. And so how much are you charging now for that same offer?
$2,000.
Amazing. Love that.
$2,000 to start, but the majority of the people that are purchasing, they're paying 5,000 or 6,000 now.
Wow, that's awesome. So you were charging $197 and now you're charging $6,000.
Yeah. And I'm raising it in the new year to 10,000 for the same thing.
And you've got more people buying the 6,000 product?
Yep.
Amazing, dude. That's so cool. Sorry to interrupt. You may carry on, but I just wanted to hear you say that because that's cool.
Yeah, it was amazing because I'm just like, okay, well, it's the same thing, and like it's like, but the process why it works is just because you have this machine. So when I came to educate, like I said, they're helping me to know the ads. So, but the problem was, and I knew it was my messaging, and I wasn't sure. I knew I was trying to book a call, but I wasn't sure how I was doing the book a call. Like I didn't have a process. I'm a
Mm,
person like systems. Things have to work
mm,
for me. This should build upon this. It should add up, and
mm,
I know I wasn't getting that. So I'm on the call. I was just teaching the how. That's all I was doing on the call, right? I shouldn't be doing that. I'm like, okay, now you guys got me one on one. What do you have a problem with? Okay, good. Let me show you how to fix it. They're like, great. Now I'm gonna practice it. Okay, so here's the offer. Do you want? It was so funny, and I'm like, okay, no, this ain't working. So basically, I saw that the ads were working, but I knew that my offer and my messaging was not working. It
mm,
wasn't, sorry, the messaging was great, better, but the process, because we learned that through yourself there, but the process of what I was doing on the call and also on the webinar just
yeah.
wasn't working. Because I wasn't even using the webinar model. They were just going to a static page. I mean, I didn't say this at the beginning, but during all of this time, from even before the year started, my wife was on her back. So I was also doing full-time dad, full-time provider, full-time everything, right? It's
Mm,
only since the last couple of months that she's been now back on her feet. So I didn't have time to waste. And all
mm,
of it was very difficult to do, trying to do everything, create, right?
absolutely.
Drop my daughter to school, pick her back up, doing everything while learning this course and while still, I mean, I still have other teaching that I do as well
Mm,
and so forth. So it was that part was very difficult. It was not a perfect situation in terms of time. So I
mm.
I know I needed something that they knew what they were doing, and it was very concise, and I can follow instructions. So that's why I was attracted because like you can't give me no fluff stuff. I don't have time for fluff, right? And but I'll do
Nah, we
what.
don't like fluff here.
That's right. You guys have no fluff. Everything you say is legitimate, right? So I went into that. So now in Elite, I'm like, man, it's so difficult with the time and everything. Like I said, it was so hard
Mm,
just because of life, right?
yes,
But then I said, okay, well, I got to get this done, right? This is an investment. I don't want to waste. So I said, okay, if I could get one client every month, then obviously then it makes it worth it. But not only that, I want to learn the process because besides one client a month, you learn a process for the rest of your life. So it's not really just what you can get from that 1 month. It's the process that you learn, which is why I was.
absolutely.
So I said, I'm doing this thing in 3 weeks. Janice, what's that 3 week plan? She's like, here, this is what you want to do. I'm like, yeah. And I went into it, and I just went, followed the training. It took me about what maybe 6 ads, but right now I'm only running one ad, right? But it didn't get to just one ad, and it's a winner. It's a winner. Like it's a winner.
Okay,
It's a
so can I, yeah, so you got one ad, and how much are you spending per day on that one ad?
$120 Canadian.
$120 a day with one ad, and how much are you returning on that?
Yeah, for every $1,000, I'm making anywhere between $8,000 and $10,000. Yeah, it's a winner. So, but the thing is, I did do 7 ads before getting to that winner. So I'm milking that winner. So I'll be like to Aaron. So I started off at $10 a day, had a few $10, but this one just seemed to be working. So I
Mm,
bumped it up to I think 15, and then it was bringing a return. So we're like, okay, let's bump it up to. So Aaron, you double it? He's like, yeah, double it. So we went to
yeah,
30, right? Then he's like, and then it started bringing a return. What we were seeing, it was predictable. I was getting 10 people booked, and then going through the I can like there's people I cancel. I'm telling you guys, let me just put this in. The application process of sifting through it is golden, has saved me so much time and money.
I love
Just
that.
reviewing, knowing how to review the red flags in the application.
Mm,
But I was skeptical at first. So the first 10 calls, I took every call. But even though there was a red flag, I'm like, okay, let me see if this is really real. Sure enough, like clockwork, man, there was a red flag.
everyone makes that mistake. They're like, oh, but I've got a call book, so I may as well try.
Yeah, now I cancel them off. So, but out of
Mm,
10 calls, and despite the cancellations, some people don't show. Yeah, there would be two that would purchase the $5,000. So that's
yeah,
the like 10,000. But however, a couple of them are on payment plans, right?
yeah,
So
course.
4-month payment plan. But the package that they were buying is either 5,000 or $6,000. So in saying that, in terms of the return, yeah, the return has been amazing. So I went to $30 a day, and it would get me 10 people in a certain amount of time. So my
Mm.
measurement was just getting 10 book calls into how fast I could do this. So then that started working at a certain amount of weeks. Then we doubled it. It's like, Aaron, can I double it? He's like, yeah, just double it. So I did it again, $60 a day now. And sure enough, it will get 10 people in a shorter period of time. Same result. $10,000 pretty much, $8 to $10,000, right? That's what I'm working on now.
You're in that tweaking phase where you've proven the process. Your ads are working. You've got an 8x ROI, which is amazing. So for every £1,000 you're spending, you get 8,000 back.
Yeah.
But there's some tweaks you can make to get that to 1,000 turns into 12,000. So yeah, you're at that phase where it's going to be just small tweaks now. So what was that first moment for you where like that one big milestone, that first milestone where like the penny dropped and you were like, oh my word, this works?
Yeah. The biggest thing was for me when that first person, they came through the process and I met with them and they said, you were speaking right to me and I want to do this. And they went and they booked their sessions for the coaching, right? That for me was just amazing just to see that come to fruition. And it gave me all the confidence in the world to just let's go,
Yeah, oh, it's amazing, man. Like when a complete stranger that you don't know, they don't know you from Adam, and they come and all the way through feel connected enough to you that they go through an ad, they go through a landing page, they go through a webinar, they go book a call with you, they go on a call with you, and they say, "Here's $6,000." Like, it's
Yeah,
just my word, it's there.
yeah, and just the process, oh my gosh, of doing it when you're on the call is just amazing. All the
Mm.
things I thought I had to do before, I don't. It's just amazing. Yeah.
How quickly did it take for you to start seeing that happen regularly?
In 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Wow.
Yeah. In 3 weeks.
Amazing.
In 3 weeks.
So
Like
in
what?
that first 3 weeks, you spent $10 a day, was it? You were spending in those 3 weeks?
$10 a day. 3 weeks. The first 10, I have it on my phone. I think it was about 3 to 6 weeks. But in terms of the first sale, was about 3 weeks after doing the ads. Yeah.
Amazing. That's so cool. It's so quick. Like, I mean, for some people that may seem long, but in the grand scheme of things, I would wait 3 weeks if I could turn $1,000 into eight. Like,
Oh, yeah, exactly. I don't want to give the accurate number. Actually, I wrote it down because I tracked every everything. So let me see here.
Amazing.
Yeah, the first 10. Yeah. Oh no, the first $590 Canadian dollars. So that's like 400 US.
Yeah.
I got my first $2,000 sale.
Whoa. And that was in 3 weeks.
That was in I think that was in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, spent
Yeah.
400 Canadian dollars or 500 Canadian dollars and made back 2,000.
Yeah.
2,000 Canadian dollars or American dollars?
No, that's American dollars. I advertise with Canadian
Wow.
dollars, but my product is 2,000. Sorry,
Okay.
US
Yeah.
dollars.
Okay, cool. Amazing. So I'm interested because I want to start. I understand you're busy and you've got your family there, so I want to don't want to take too much of your time. So, um, what is that next big milestone for you? What's your next goal? Because you sound like you're on track, man. Like it feels like you're just going to start killing it every single month, and I know you are. And so, What's that next? Actually, sorry, I'm going to rewind this episode slightly. I'm really sorry. Just I
Mhm.
realized that. Be prepared. That's my next question.
Okay.
So actually, the question I would love to know now is: so you've been doing this process since February,
Uh,
February 2022, or
yeah, well, I mean, but the Elite was really since launched since September 11th, but I started obviously Elite in August. That was
okay,
that golden ticket right there.
okay. So you started working in our program called Elite in August, and so what are you at right now? How much revenue have you generated since August? And kind of how has your life changed since that?
Yeah, so since Elite, since August, let me see what I have here. Yeah, so since that time, we did about what over 50 plus thousand, right? US,
Nice, amazing.
but that's not counting after all the payments. So after all payments come through, it's probably closer to almost 70.
Oh yeah, and for people watching this video, that's 4 months ago. So in 4 months,
Yeah.
$70,000.
Yeah.
And that's from how much spend on advertisement?
Right now, about 5,000 Canadian.
5,000 into 70,000. Wait,
Yeah.
5,000 Canadian into
Yeah.
70,000 US.
Yeah. So that's like 4,000 US. Like, I think I'm
Dude,
getting a real good return. So my problem now is, man, I'm running out of space because right now it's a one-on-one deal with myself,
of
but
course.
I'm transitioning it where I'm gonna have some other people that are gonna kind of lighten the load. So because I asked that question to Aaron, I said, should I pull back the ads because
Mm,
the people are just coming, right?
yeah,
And he
it's
said,
a good
nope,
problem to have.
just consider now having a couple other people that can take some calls.
What's that next big milestone for you?
Yeah, of expanding and now having other coaches, people that know my system that I've trained, to now jump into the process so that we,
Mm.
yeah, kind of dominate online here.
And so you're not so far. You're not far off your $100,000 award, are you? Have you applied for it yet, or are you close to it?
Well, I haven't applied yet. I mean, I've seen the number is 90,000. I mean, I have three people on deposits right now. So if they follow through, that's another 15,000 US. Yeah,
Yeah.
that
So then you'll be passing it.
tomorrow, and another on Monday between the three, and as well as I have
Mm.
five other calls booked for the rest of this week. So
Dude, I don't see why, like in 2023, you won't be applying for our $1 million award. If I'm honest, like, if you keep going at the rate you're going, if you find the right salespeople, if you keep scaling with us by your side, man, I don't see why you wouldn't be getting that award at some point.
well, it's possible, but yeah, definitely the scaling part is that my next frontier is
Mm,
having others so we can scale in that way, and
yeah.
it's looking pretty promising.
Well,
I just
we're excited to help you with that, man. We really are. Genuinely, we are so proud and happy with like how far you've come and how well implemented you have been. Like you've implemented everything down to a T. Like you said, you follow instructions, and it proves the process, doesn't it? You follow instructions, you don't deviate from the plan, and it
don't
works. That's amazing, man. That's so cool.
let people know I'm very skeptical, very very skeptical, but I'm
Mm,
skeptical and willing to always try it though, right? I'm
mm,
not skeptical and don't try it. No, I'm
mm.
skeptical so that you can prove me wrong. That's why the first 10 calls I'm like, okay, I'm going to take the calls anyways, even though I see the red flags according to the training to not do. I did it anyways, and sure enough, it was like clockwork. I'm like, okay, that's all I needed. All right. So for the next 60 calls, no, I followed it exactly. I followed the signs and I took the people out, not wasting my time. So
Amazing.
like a lot less stress, like in terms of when you're doing it. I'm like, yeah, I'm
Mm.
fewer calls, but you're making more. It was just like crazy.
That's awesome, bro. That's so good. Dude, that's been so amazing. Thank you so much for this call. And for anyone watching this YouTube video and you're interested in kind of learning, in fact, the beginning of your journey was in educated and learning about YouTube ads. So actually there's a video that's going to be popping up like around here, like this, talking about YouTube ads and kind of the best practices to get started with that. So dude, thank you so much for your time. I love hearing your story. It absolutely, like I said, I'm sweating with excitement for you. Peace out, man. Have a fantastic rest of your day.
You too. Thanks, Pete.
See you later, buddy.
Bye.